So I go ahead and start, or
Yeah, you're good to go.
okay. So my policy change, or like the thing that I want to change, is the laws against non-violent drug offenders. And these are people who only like will use drugs, but like don't sell them or don't like attack people while they're on them. Um, Oftentimes these people will be like arrested for months or years, and when they're arrested, they get like their like drug charges go under a record, so it makes them very hard to like get a job. Um, and not having a job kind of like creates this cycle of like drug use and then going back into jail and then getting out and then using again and then going back into jail, and it can like last a lifetime, and I think it's really horrible. Um, I believe this because of like some of the like stories I've heard. Kara Dansky talks about Misty Barrickman on her blog. She talks about her having scoliosis, which is like a disease that like makes it so that it hurts to lie down and it hurts to stand up. So what she did was she started taking a drug called oxycodone to help with the pain of like sitting down and standing up, and she became addicted to it. In becoming addicted to it, it's an illegal drug, or she was getting it illegally, and she got sent to jail, and then she'd get out and she'd use it again, and she got sent to jail and she'd get out and use it again, and it'd repeat for like a really long time. Eventually, however, she lives in Seattle. Seattle has a program called LEAD. It stands for Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program. And the goal of this program is to, instead of sending like nonviolent drug offenders to jail, police will instead send them to, they will send them to like support programs to help them get off the drugs and deal with withdrawal and stuff like that. And that really helps them to like get back on their feet, and it helps them to get jobs again. And I think that's really good. Something else I think we need to do is I was reading this story. It's from Talk Poverty, which is like a website, and it was talking about a mother who was who had a daughter who was addicted to heroin for over 15 years. And she was talking about the benefits of not sending her to, or not calling the cops on her. So many parents were telling her to call the cops on her, and that like if she did that she could just kind of leave it in the back of her mind, that she wouldn't have to worry about her daughter using drugs. But she knew that wouldn't work because she'd just be in jail, and she'd get out and she'd use again. So instead, she helped her on her own, and she enlisted her in programs, kind of similar to LEAD, except like she was the policeman in LEAD. So she sent her to programs, and over 15 years, she'd get stable again. But she feels that if she actually went with the parents' advice of sending her to jail, that it'd get on her record and she'd never have a life. That's just my views, though. I feel for these people and not being able to get a job and stuff. It's a real horrible cycle. But I can understand if you don't feel the same. So I'd like to talk to you instead about like the prison sentences. Nearly 300,000 people are held in state and federal prisons for non-violent drug violations. This takes up a enormous amount of taxes. It could be going to other stuff like programs that actually help people, like LEAD. That's according to Pew, by the way, the 300,000 number. A website called Tunebridge also cited Pew, saying that, asking that should drug addicts go to jail? They said no, because they took studies on whether or not like jailed drug offenders got better, and the answer was almost always no. They almost always, started using again and then would get back into jail. So I think a good change agent to bring about this change, this policy change, that like instead of jailing drug offenders, we should like help them not to be addicted. I think the biggest people who could do it would be Congress and the president. But that's kind of wishful thinking. I think where we should start would be with people like you and me, because we still hold this very like negative perception of drug users. Like, some of them are bad, some of them do really bad things, but they shouldn't be jailed on the basis that that they are addicted to drugs. They should be jailed on the things that they do. And it's so often that people are just jailed on the fact that they are addicted to drugs. So what we should instead do is we should be like Kathleen Cochran, the lady I talked about earlier who helped her daughter. We should look at these people as victims and not as violent criminals. And we should try to get them help and not call the police on them so often. And I think congressmen and the president and people like that would look at this and see how the public view is changing, and I think they would cave into it, even if they didn't feel the same. Any questions?
Where would these people go to get their help that they needed?
They just go to there are like a lot of like rehabilitation programs across the U.S. I think there's
Yeah, but what if you don't have any? Say you're homeless and like a drug abuser. Like, how could you get that help?
well, I'd like to actually make it like a taxpayer thing. Like we like taxes would go to programs that help people for free, if that makes sense. Like you wouldn't have to be like a gazillion dollars to get some help.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Any other
So, so you think they should get help before, like, say they get sentenced to jail? Do you think if once they get out, they should be already enlisted in getting help in these drug uses?
well, for non-violent drug offenders, I think that they shouldn't be sent to jail at all, because they didn't hurt anyone. I think they should go straight to programs instead of going to jail and then getting out. Any other questions?
Did everybody else miss most of that?
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, it cut out.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You want to ask a question again? My bad.
Oh, I was just saying that if they do get sentenced in jail, and should they already be enlisted in getting help once they get out? Like, instead of them having to go out and doing that themselves, should they already be enrolled in this, in getting help?
Yes, I do think that they should that like police should enroll them like themselves instead of leaving it up to them.
Are there any other questions? All right, you can stop your recording.
All right.